Hello, Young Justice fans. Dark Superboy here again with another video for you based on our favorite superhero series. And today is a live discussion about our favorite superhero series, being episodes 1 and 2 of Young Justice Phantoms. And I am not here alone. Today we have other people joining us. I have brand new YouTuber to the Young Justice series, Iris Grayson. Hello. We have a live stream fan member, Parker DC, and we have the returning of the illustrious co-founder slash founder of Facebook's fan community, Enrique. Hello. Say hello to everyone.
Hello.
So yeah, we will be breaking down the live a live discussion of episodes 1 and 2 of Young Justice Phantoms. So if you have any comments or theories in the section below, let them out. Let us know if you have any questions as well. So we'll get first things first with a bit of an introduction. We'll go around the house. Everyone say hello. Iris, hello.
Hello.
Now you're new to the Young Justice channel
Yes.
or YouTubers. So how are you finding it daunting as getting into this with a fresh series for a fresh channel?
YouTube's I don't know how to edit very well. I currently use just my phone and iMovie, and my editing is just a little bit of an intro and a little bit of an outro and little bits in between. It's not as hard as I thought it was, but it's still pretty hard.
Don't worry, it gets easier once you start knowing how things are done. Or you can just be lazy and do a live stream, and that way you don't have to edit anything at all. Oh, okay. Parker, say hello to everyone. And how did you become a Young Justice fan of the series? Parker? We seem to be having some. Okay, I think we're having some technical difficulties with Parker. Can you hear us?
I've been watching so yeah.
Okay, we're still a bit. Hang on, let me just switch on the phone. We can see you, but you're coming in a bit speckled, interacting in and out. I'm going to just check the live feed on my phone and see how things are going. But in between that time, Enrique. Now, obviously, for those who have watched my channel before, we know that you're from Facebook. But if you tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to the YJ fandom.
Okay, well, I'm a film student graduate, and I started watching Young Justice around 2016. So it was already way, way past its cancellation, but the fandom was still like really strong. So after I watched the series and I loved it, I got together with some people who had like a social media presence on the show to try to get it renewed, and I went on board as in immediately, and suddenly I was co-heading the whole Facebook and campaign, and also managing the fan community, which we have around over 15,000 followers, and we were in the middle of the fight when it was really, really intense, like 1 to 2 years before the renewal. And obviously, we contacted Christopher Jones, the comic comic writer, and the Whelm podcast. With the effort of everyone involved, we did it. Like I almost got a heart attack when I saw the green poster with no, the orange poster with Young Justice 3. So mission accomplished, and I'm so happy we're now finally watching the beginning of
Season
season
4.
4, which is amazing.
Yeah. Woo! 2 years of waiting. Yay!
Yeah.
I would have said it's worth the wait, but unfortunately, I would have said, yeah, I'm willing to wait if it can be less time instead of 2 years.
Yeah,
Parker, are
make
you
sure it can be
back
like
with
that.
us now? I think we're going to have some technical difficulty with Parker this evening, but we'll carry on. Hopefully, he'll get things fixed. So, what did we think of the beginning of Young Justice Season 4's? Let's start off with 2 minute
my stuff's
trailer
still
during
pretty
DC.
slow.
Okay. I've just checked on the live stream. I think it might be your connection to the internet at the moment. Everyone else is coming in fine, unfortunately, Parker, but maybe it'll warm up in a bit. We're just going on to now I would like to say panel with the quotation marks, panel for Young Justice DC fandom, which was, oh my God, 2 minutes. I was waiting 2.5 hours for just 2 minutes of a trailer, and then they dropped the bomb that it was you could go and watch episodes 1 and 2 right now. That was a shock. Was anyone expecting that?
I had saw it
No.
on Twitter. I think Shanley Stamboy, she like retweeted it and saying like, "Oh yeah, you can go watch Young Justice tomorrow on HBO Max." I did not see that until actual DC fandom, but yeah, I was kind of excited.
Well, for me, well, I really enjoy the 2 hours and a half of DC fandom, but I was surprised. Why would they leave Young Justice almost at the end? And then it
Yeah.
went with the, and then they show the trailer, and I was like, "Oh man, that looks awesome!" I hope they don't take too long. And like 15 seconds later, you can watch the first episode on this fandom
Afterwards.
HBO Max, and I was like, "Are you
Okay,
kidding me?"
hands up if you left after watching the Young Justice panel.
I did not. I really wanted to. I knew that it was almost over. I knew the Batman was coming and that was going to be their close. But
Uh,
I struggle. But I really wanted to see the end of this fandom. And
I just left.
immediately I was here watching both episodes. Part of me actually wanted to finish this fandom to get more excited and excited as I let time go. And then
Okay, Parker's back. How are we doing, Parker?
I don't know. Is it better now?
It's slightly better. You kind of just freeze, say something, and then move on again. Don't worry. When Zero Fazal was on here
Yes.
for Quiz 2, we just... Oh, that seems so much better. Or it might be because you're staying still so much. If you just keep moving around. You just have these poetic positions. Yeah, there we go. We're seeing you move now, so it seems like it hasn't frozen. But what we were just discussing, how we left how 2 of us left right after the Young Justice panel. Did you leave afterwards?
Yeah, after I saw the episodes were put on HBO Max, I just turned off DC fandom and started watching it.
And I would like to point out for all those who are watching us, Dark Superboy, we got Nightwing over next to us in Iris. We got Kid Flash with Parker, and we got a Young Justice shirt for Enrique. I mean, we go big for us Young Justice fans here, so it's we all try our hardest. But yeah, so what did we think of the trailer when we saw it? I mean, obviously that like we've gone to Mars.
Yeah, after I saw the trailer, like I just like not even like just 5 seconds in, I just started crying because I don't know why I was crying. I think it was from either nostalgia or just because I just love the show. I just started crying. I like shut everything down. I turned everything off, and I just went on my phone and tweeted at Greg Weisman saying, "I've been crying for like 10 minutes because of this trailer." It was like I feel like that part where Will's clipboard breaks was the moment where I just got a little bit of time to breathe and process what I just saw, because a lot of stuff happens in the trailer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, so many things are spotted. Parker, what did you think?
Right off the start of it, I thought the narration was a little weird. It caught me off guard. I didn't expect them to have a narrator, but I definitely thought it was pretty dark when they saw Superboy just beating up somebody so brutally, and then
Oh yeah,
Artemis's voiceover. It just seemed like they were going to continue with the darker theme.
yeah. You can tell that they've amped up the darker theme because they've put so much blood in the beginning of this trailer. Enrique.
I think when the trailer was shown, like Iris, I stopped breathing like for 2 minutes. Like I probably can't live in Atlantis now because my lungs have developed. It was breathtaking. I really saw that it's going to be a really dark season because yeah, we saw Superboy beating someone like blood on his face, but also Artemis like as Tigress, she was like showing less restraint and like when she says you will not play by the rules, so I'm not going to do that either. She goes like very dark, and we have the flashback of her training with Jade on their
Yeah,
sports
I
master as
spotted that
kids.
too because
And I
they've
was
got the
like
sports
yeah,
master
maybe that's
mask.
her phantom, you know. If it's gonna be about the phantoms of the zero year team, yeah, her family history would be one. Uh, Megan's story in Mars, and I was both really bummed and really excited as why didn't they show Nightwing?
That was one of
Oh
the
yeah,
big things.
that's
I
a
was
good
like,
point.
where's Nightwing? All we see is Artemis and Super Martian. We're not seeing any Nightwing. We barely see Zatanna and Rocket.
And
Did
Calvary
we
is
even
almost
see Rocky
counted
in
as
this
well.
one?
I think, actually,
I don't
I
remember
think
seeing her.
Rocket and Nightwing, I think the two who like we got to see nothing out of. I think it was just that photo. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's where we see all of them.
That
That's the
wasn't.
thing.
Yeah, that was from the flashback of in the actual episode itself. But
Oh, was it? I thought it was in the trailer. I thought the photo was in the
No,
trailer.
was
the
it?
trailer didn't show Nightwing. I think it didn't show Calvary or very little of him. Rocket, Satana, yes, but really, Satana looks like she's gonna have major issues with Clarion.
I can't believe I didn't notice there wasn't any Nightwing in the trailer. I mean, the things I picked up on was that yeah, we had a flashback towards when Jade and Artemis were being trained by their dad, clearly, and the bloody knuckles of Connor, and like punching something really hard that he's got blood on him, like, and he's got bruised knuckles. So whatever he's punching must be
Oh,
really,
and in the
really
trailer,
tough.
in the trailer, you can see that Connor has a scar right across his eyebrow, and that comes into play in the first 2 episodes. You see
Yeah.
how he gets that scar.
I thought that was blood splatter. I mean, I
No,
thought that was him punching
so
someone so much
there's
he
a
got blood.
scene where Connor's crawling through spoiler, a sandstorm. He's crawling through a sandstorm in the trailer, and it zooms on his face, and you can see the cut right across his forehead.
Oh yeah, we should totally say spoiler warnings ahead for anyone who watches this. I mean, it's titled Episode 1 and 2 Discussion. Let me just pull up the trailer. I'm saying it's just blood splatter on his your videos.
And
I'll
also
have to
the
watch
part
this
where Gar runs in to hug Connor, you also see the scar.
No, I've looked. It's blood splatter.
Yeah, there is blood splatter, but like if you look at all the other Connor parts in the trailer, you can see
Right.
that there is a cut on his forehead.
Yeah,
The punching one is blood splatter. I never spotted the part in the part of the other. Parker, did you spot anything in the trailer? Don't worry, guys. We will be getting to questions. Anchor questions. Connor, do you see anything in the trailer? Okay. We're just going to go with. Just have a listen. Enjoy the ride. If you hear a question and can respond, go for it. Okay. I noticed the Lady Shiva and Orphan clashing of the swords because that was Lady Shiva and the sword and the younger girl who clearly looked like Lady Shiva, which I'm assuming was Orphan. What else did we have? We had Connor crawling through what seemed to be the surface of Mars with an oxygen tank, which had a hole in it. What else? We had
That's
Zatanna
definitely
versus
Mars.
Clarion, and Clarion getting absolutely squished. And the ending, which seems to suggest that Clarion is taking another human form, is a bit interesting. I don't know why he would do that after having that form for so long, unless, what happened there?
I think.
And then,
oh, sorry.
No, go.
I think by this point, which is almost 10 years since chronologically since season 1. Yeah, it's true. Yes, almost 10 years.
Yeah, it has been 10 years of Clarion in that form.
The light is gonna be like we're really, at this, kids that have been messing with us for 10 years. We have to double down on them, and I think that's why they're going to go to the pillars of the team, which are the originals, and that's what I think their past will come to play, and their enemies like Clarion and Zatanna will probably gonna go full head on, and there's of course the Martian plot with McGann. I think like the title Phantoms suggest, I think the past will come to haunt them, and maybe Kaldur and Black Manta will have their father's son.
I don't know. I don't think Black Manta will return. But you did bring up something that reminded me that in an interview, Brandon Vieri did. Oh, hello. I think that will be Connor saying he can't. Nope. Brandon Vieri did say. Don't ignore me. Connor, Parker has just said he. Unfortunately, I don't think his. Because of the poor connection. I truly appreciate being invited, and I enjoyed the time I spent there when I wasn't breaking up. We'll miss you too, Connor. Miss you too there, Parker. I'm sorry I said Connor because I'm also messaging Connor from Young Justice TV whether or not he could join us. That's okay.
How we get to do another live stream, Parker, soon.
That's okay. Come watch. No, Parker, come watch us. My channel, Dark Superboy. There we go. Yeah. Okay. But so that was the trailer, Dan, and then we got episodes 1 and 2. Finally, we got episodes 1 and 2, and wow, was that a first and second episode? I didn't think it through. I thought when I had watched the live stream of the prize that obviously they had gotten married, but of course they haven't gotten married. They're just going to do the Martian wedding first and then come back. As Greg Weisman pointed out, that is still an engagement ring. So they haven't got married. They've traveled to Mars. I'm just like, wow. Or Mars, as they pronounce it with 2 R's and a Z. Mars. And then they went to the city. I cannot pronounce the city. Has it pronounced?
It has been pronounced. I don't remember how to pronounce it though.
I think it's pronounced Ma'alefakandra.
Oh, Maalaka Andra. Yeah, there you go.
Malek-
Alakahundra.
Malek
Andra.
Andra.
Yeah, Maalaka Andra.
Alakahundra.
I really like that. We're finally learning about Mars. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the previous seasons, all we knew about Mars was what Megan told us, the audience or her friends, but we never really saw what it was like, the life of the Garoons, the Green Martians, the Ashen, the White Martians, and how they live underground and their technology and their culture. I don't think any Justice League animation has ever gone that deep on Mars.
Not
And,
really.
and it was
Iris,
really
what do you
interesting.
Iris, your views?
I that like my biggest question was on the ship, like Gar's attitude. Like he seemed very off. He didn't seem right to me. I'm used to Gar being like super happy all the time, and he's super angsty. He's like Connor
Teenage
in this
angst
season.
happens.
Well, I think anyone being stuck on a ship about the size of an RV would, for a
True.
month, would go a
Yeah,
bit
I think anyone will
doolally. I thought they were going to
Yeah.
enter when he was talking about sleep. I thought they were going to enter some sort of stasis pod and
Yeah, like
wake up when they arrive. Not, oh, I couldn't do a month on a ship. I've been on cruise ships and I nearly went insane over a week. I would have gone
mean-
absolutely nuts if I'd
I
been
mean,
stuck
cruises are
inside.
different. You're
Oh.
stopping every once in a while.
No, but
Yeah,
imagine.
but at least you got off
It's
the
not a big
boat.
ship. The bioship is
Not a
really
big ship.
small.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
Bioship
being
is
inside a
small.
camper van.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go insane too. Like, and then Gar goes like, I can sleep in those bunks. Okay, so you spend 1 month on a X-sized spaceship with three crewmates, and you can sleep.
Or if you include
Uh,
Bioship.
And there are no
Bioship's
stops.
person.
So
Yeah, Bioship's alive. Don't forget to
Yeah.
count Bioship,
we
Enrique.
learn about Bioship's reproduction
Oh
process.
yeah, we're coming up to that. We're coming up to that. We're just going through
Okay.
the beginning of the. Yeah, we'll be getting onto that little beauty later on. But yeah, so I liked it because I have no idea what's going to happen here because as we all know, like because DC Earth has so much history, you could tell what was going to happen. Okay, this means that, this means that, but because we're on Mars and we're literally on an unknown planet, I had no idea what was going to happen, which is really, really good for a series that you don't know how it's going to happen because it's just going to be A, B, and C, just like all superheroes is. You have the intro, you have them getting the powers, you have them getting their ass kicked, then something happens and then they win the day. And with the new stuff, adds that mystery back in, which I really appreciate, and it brings up a lot. When I was watching this with my brother Daniel, we were enjoying the modern day cultural references of racism and bigotry and hate that was being brought up and discussed, but it kind of got it didn't. Oh, I'm not saying that it ignored the whole black and white problem, but it put it into a term where it wasn't black and white. It was just it's racism. It's just like hatred. It's makes no sense at all because they're biologically the same except for skin pigmentation, and even then you can change it. So modern day views that was just wow.
Yeah,
That really needed to
kind
happen.
of backtracking a bit before they left for Mars, that scene where they're trying on their rings, is it just me or do Connor and McGann, because of this new animation, they look so much younger than they did in season 1?
Oh yeah, the animation's all done by the same guys now, so there isn't any
Yeah. But they look so
difference.
much younger in my opinion.
I don't
Yes,
think they look much younger, but I like Megan's new long hair and my
the
but
new hair.
Yeah, I know
New-
Emily Booz
new
and
hair,
I
new
were
long
kind of
hair.
freaking out about that.
And like Michael was saying, it was really Young Justice has never shied away, especially since season 3, on highlighting relevant issues like right now is racism in Mars, which reflect here on our modern world. Last season, I was really happy with the LGBT inclusions when Harper and Violet kiss, and with Caldur. So I'm glad that the series is staying relevant on
Yeah, it's taking
on our
matters like
issues.
that so seriously and bringing
And
it to
and
a
I
good.
will say, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
it's bringing it all to a good understanding level. Um, oh, okay. So we brought up that. Um, okay, so we can now get to Bioship, and oh my God, is it so cute? It's so adorable.
It was really interesting. It was like Cotter said,
Flies off and meets
what do
its other
bioships
people.
do for fun? And then we go and she has a baby with another bioship,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
like.
Yeah,
And
I was,
I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool.
it's a baby Bioship. I
I
was
was
like,
questioning.
oh,
I'm like,
that's so
is
cute.
that? I was questioning. Is that? Did Bioship have a baby? Is that Bioship's friend? What is this other Bioship?
Well, they all seem to. What it seems like they all communicated with each other,
Yeah.
melded together, and then popped out as one. And then you see it kind of like they spin, and then big one, which is Bioship,
Bioship.
comes off
The
of the
little
little
one,
one,
which
and the
is
little one is just there floating, and then Bioship does it, and they even do it in the whole tone of the beepings. The Bioship sounds more adult and bigger and stronger and louder. And then it does a couple of beeps and then transforms into the Bioship. And this small little blob does quieter, lighter, and obviously more, it sounds more childish beeps. Makes an attempt to transform into the Bioship, struggles, comes back to the blob form, and then does it again and then turns into a really smaller one. It's just, oh, so cute.
I think
And then they fly
it's
off.
amazing how they have turned Bioship into her own character inside the show.
And we do
Bioship
learn
is a
from Forger
character.
that Bioship is a girl.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a girl. But
Which
Bioship has been her
makes a
own
rather
character since.
interesting question. If Bioship is biological matter, as we know, is it possible for it to take samples of other biological matter and combine it with its own to make part Bioship, part Forager?
But
Okay,
that goes for like the same question for Connor
yeah,
and McGann. Technically, that could go the same way because like people are confused if Connor and McGann can technically have children.
Yeah, because you've
But
got the adaptive ability of their genome.
yeah,
So if the Bioship takes on that form of adaptability, would it be like the baby Bioship has like a harder ulterior exterior
I
shell?
I don't think that
I'm
they
not
could
saying it's.
like.
I would just love it if
No,
that
I
was an
know, but
idea.
I don't think that could happen because I don't think Bioship can morph into something like Forager could, you know.
yeah. From what
So
we've seen, Bioship is just shapeshift into transportation. I don't think it
yeah,
can
I don't think
turn
it
into an animal.
Well, no,
or into a
I'm
person or
not an animal,
whatever.
but if it makes, I mean, like the Asari in Mass Effect, they don't use the person's DNA. They use that they're breeding with. They use the DNA to randomize the genetic coding so that the child they have, although is Asari, because the genetic coding that it's taken, it it has some of the traits of the mum or the dad, even though it's genetically not related to the mum and the dad. So it might have been like, "Oh, I like this hard outer shell. Let's take some of that DNA. Let's take that sequence, and we'll take this sequence from there." And then just like,
I don't know. I
baby.
think you should ask whoever's in charge of Cadmus right now. Maybe they can give you
Oh,
an
1
answer.
second. I'll be right back. Talking about amongst themselves.
Okay, so well, I wanted to touch down on the early minutes of the episode. What do you think, Aris? With
I love that we get.
Harper and
Yeah.
Colin
Like,
Living
I
with-
think there was an article about that, how Harper and Cullen could eventually move in with Connor McGann, and I'm actually super excited that they did. I'm pretty sure that they're living with Lucas, and like Lucas and the police officer are now married.
Yeah, and the
And-
police officer used to be her student, his student.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
talking about Greg? Yeah, yeah. You're talking about how Greg, the voice actor. Now, as we know, in Greg likes to have the actors actually really kiss. So does that mean
That is
Greg
my
kissed
question.
someone?
That is my question. I'm so confused. Like, I've asked Zara, and she's like, "Yeah, Troy and I never kissed. They use like pre-recorded audio." So, did Greg and the other actor kiss, or was it pre-recorded audio?
Well, I'm guessing if they're separated due to COVID, they didn't, but they
Did they
did.
do
in
the Nolan
yeah.
North thing where they kiss their hand?
Yeah, when Zira had to kiss a character she was both playing, so one or the other, so that was Halo and Harper. We did this in an interview. She said she kissed her hand
Yeah, like
because most of the time, for example, with Steph and Jason, he has them do it in real life. So whoever Greg kissed, that would be fun.
did
Oh,
Greg
okay.
just ask his wife to go into the recording booth and they just kissed?
I think it's is that biology?
I've got a little. There is a video playlist of how you do it, but you can. I
Also,
have a video
oh
of
my
origami bioship. So this is basically what happened. Boom, and boom, baby, and they go flying off.
I took an
Oh my
art class
God.
last year and I had to make an origami thing that wasn't a swan or a boat. And so I found your video and just made a bioship. And my teacher, he likes comic books. I'm like, yeah, this is a Martian ship. And he's like, perfect, that's great.
What
Awesome.
did you get? What score did you get?
I'm pretty sure I got an A on it. I'm not 100%
Yes,
sure.
You have to get an A. Like
I'm gonna post that on Twitter.
you did a Martian bioship of paper.
I don't think I still have it. I either threw it away or it's crumpled up somewhere.
Oh, Iris, I'm heartbroken. Well, how could you? I mean, I've kept mine.
Yeah, I have
So
I had like 20 paper swans because like that was another assignment and they were just littered all across my room. And then I just eventually gave them away to my friends because they didn't know how to make them.
Oh,
so what do you guys think of Harper and Cullen now?
oh, yeah. Well, we knew that seemed to be coming along the way, but yes, I'm quite pleased with how they're doing.
I
as
like
a
Cullen.
relationship.
Seems like
And I watched the end credits and Colin is voiced by the same person who voices McCon.
yeah.
Oh, wow, I did not know
I
that.
knew his voice was familiar. Like he's playing another character. I'm not sure
Oh,
who, but he's playing someone else.
and speaking of credits, what did we think about the new idea for the credit
Oh.
sequence where it's a voiceover? It's
I
just
love
like,
it. I
yes,
love it.
okay, that's even better.
It's not just
I
Wolf
love
and
it.
Craig sleeping. We actually get to see something.
Yeah, but
Well, here's something.
but
I was
it's
just
like
like,
Yeah.
the first time where you actually want to see it down and watch the credits, because as they are rolling, you're learning about what's happening in their lives.
Yeah, and I had mentioned earlier that I had gotten my sister to watch this, and my sister watched that one bit, and she's like, "No, they don't even need to talk about Brion. She absolutely hates Brion. She doesn't want him to have any sort of redemption."
I'm really sad that on the recording, I know we're skipping towards toward the end, but
yeah,
it
well,
fits-
credits
it
came
fits-
up,
it
so we
fits-
thought might as well.
it's his area. So when Perdita is messaging Dar, she's saying, with all the refugee crisis from people coming from Markovia to Vlatava for refuge, and I'm like, what the heck is Brion doing?
Yeah. What is Brion doing that makes everyone want to leave? I mean, I
And
understand. I mean,
exactly.
Well, according to Barzovi, he's running a puppet country, so Barzovi's doing something.
but the implication was that Bialia and North and South Bialia, Queen Bee, had wrecked the other countries, so they were going to Markovia, and then that Markovia stopped those refugees coming in. So what did they let people in, and then those people are now trying to get out, or have they stopped letting? Are still not letting people in, but they've screwed it up in such a way that other people are trying to get out. It's just
I think it's
mind-boggling.
Yeah.
I think they with Rion's mind so much that now he's probably like a king tyrant, and people are like, let's get off this place before, because uh, Vasovi, who is the one controlling Rion's mind, is part of the light, just as Queen Bee from Vialia. So if I was Perdita, I would increase my security detail for like an army.
Yeah, very very much so. I like the fact that these credit bits, they don't necessarily they aren't necessarily addition to the episode you're watching, but they add to the story. So they're these little, like, it's almost like a deleted scene or Easter egg. It's like it adds to the series as a whole by increasing the depth of it, but it's not something you necessarily have to watch through like credits. So it adds to it with just like how the pictures added to the credits of season 3. So it adds to it more, not necessarily. You don't necessarily have to watch it, but it makes the show better, which is what Greg seems to be becoming a masterpiece of doing there. So we just did the
because
credit.
when the credits started, and then the therapy session between Violet and Canary started, it was like, okay, I have to listen to this. I don't care if it's the credits, and I want to listen to this. I'm gonna stay at the end of the credits because it's that engaging. You know, it's like, oh my god, they're doing something I've never seen, like during the credits. So yeah, I'm gonna watch.
I mean,
Yeah, and
I
like
don't
one of
know. Sorry, you go
yeah,
first,
one of
Iris.
my big things was like Gar is listening to this and he looks like he doesn't care. Like the way he's just scrolling through the phone, it looks like he doesn't care. And
Yeah.
like we had gotten like in the beginning, he was like, yeah, I think Pretty and I both could use a break. And my big question is like, what's going on with them? Is something wrong with them, or is they just both like really burned out?
I don't think the credit snippet of whatever Martian thing got turned to with the phone is while listening to Perdita was supposed to be like a scene, more like a, we know Gary is listening to it, but the image just shows like
I get it.
has
So
his own
you think it's just a still?
a still,
You think
yeah,
it's just a
a
still, but
still
the
or
audio is
a
playing?
looped scene that
Yeah.
goes with it, but does not reflect Gar's reaction or to the message. Just like we know this message was sent, uh, Gar may or may have not seen it yet, heard it yet, but uh, but we know that at some point he's gonna listen to it. Maybe not in that moment because he was like very serious, like whatever. But I think yeah, maybe he already heard it and they just put that still, so to generate even more mystery and keep us tuned every week, as if they needed to, because we're already going to tune every week.
Okay, so we've done this sort of in reverse order. We started with the credits. So let's go with the opposite of the credits, which is the intro, and that's just wow.
Yeah.
That's just,
I
they've
loved it.
amped up the intro music so much, and I thought they were just going to do it like season 3, where it was the apocalypse
2 and
Earth thing,
season
but no, they
3.
really tried. They really, really tried.
I
Yeah,
think this is probably like my favorite of the intros. It like if you look at their name tags, their Zeta IDs, like they change and it goes from like Robin and Nightwing and it all
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah, I actually last night I did a mix on that. I have a tendency to make playlists on everything I like, books I like, movies I like, blah blah blah. So yesterday I was like, I already had a Young Justice playlist that I made, but it was for the comics. And
Yeah.
I say I was looking for the great moment to do one for the series, because I know how to edit audio. I mixed the the intro from Outsiders. You know, the ominous.
Yeah, the little
red.
and you've added that in. That's
and then I added because I have the soundtrack from Outsiders. There's this part where remember that Dick has the has a hallucination and with Wally and like a regression everyone to year one and they play
Yeah.
the whole team
Oh yeah, from the flashback, I remember what
from
you're
the,
talking about.
from the flashback
All-
slash.
All I
fever
know
dream.
is I'm now going to have to change my credit music for my YouTube channels because I always like when it's the watch a video or subscribe, I always play the end credits over it. So I'm now going to have to play the more awesome
Yeah.
end credit videos at the end of that.
Yeah, and
Did anyone
well-
spot anything Easter egg wise during that? Because I think I did with the fact you see for a brief second when they're going through all the silhouettes at the beginning, there is Kid Flash silhouette in there.
I didn't really see anything, but like in the
yeah.
trailer and in the 2 episodes so far, I have noticed a lack of 16s and 52s.
Well, most of it will probably be in Martian, so
It's true.
Yeah,
ask Greg,
so-
what's the Martian for 16 and 52? Are they in there?
No idea.
But yeah, we've obviously get the intro with including Rocket and Zatanna, who, as already brought up by Iris, hasn't made much of an appearance in the trailers.
We do have that one trailer where she's doing that thing, telling everyone to like
With
give her
Clarion, yeah.
energy.
But we haven't. We've. So, what do we think's going on with Rocket, who is now?
I was about to
mum?
ask you that. What do you think it's?
Doesn't she still have
we're-
a baby? Isn't she taking care of her child?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but
I'm
she's
sure.
just
Well, you
still
can be a
part of the
parent
Justice
and
League.
still do that.
True.
But I think-
Rocket was like added by the so close to the end of season 1 we couldn't really see.
Yeah, you
See
got
much
baby
of-
in there, that kid. Amistad, that's his name. And
Yeah,
it was
Amistad.
one year,
Amistad.
and he's now 1 year
Yeah,
older,
son.
but obviously he's not. I think he might be old enough. He's not old enough to be left on his own, but he's old enough to probably be babysat.
I think he's like a year. No,
no,
I think
more than
he's. No, I know he's. I'm trying to think. Is he younger or he's younger than Leon, right?
Oh, I know
Yeah.
the reference. Right. Okay. Amistad was definitely born before Nightwing's birthday, which was happened just before the beginning
No.
of season 2.
No, he was
because-
already born. He was already here.
Yeah, he was born
Because-
because in the tie-in comics,
Yeah,
in the
she's
comics,
like.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
talking about
like-
like so many pictures of Amistad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
precisely. So
Yeah.
we know it's been at least the amount of time between season 2, 3, and now 4. So that's a year, 3
I'm
years.
Guessing
He must be
either
around
like
five or
So
Four
he
to
must be at
five-ish?
least 4.
4.
4 years old.
I think he's 4.
I
Yeah,
think.
4,
Okay.
4-ish.
So Leon
Four.
is older than him.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I think because it was because Leanne the
Leanne is older than
coupling of to create Leanne happened between season 1 and season 2 because you find out whilst you play Young Justice Legacy that after season 1 Connor and Roy and Jade go off trying to find him, the real Roy Harper, and they get together, get married, have some arguments. There's like saving of each other from the shadows, and obviously that's when Leanne would have been conceived. So it's before season 1, which is earlier than the events of season 2. So I think Leanne is slightly older than Amistad is by
Yeah, I
a
think
bit,
Leanne is
but not by
way
like a
older.
multiple years.
Yeah,
Um,
because if you see Amistad on the they babysitting episode of Outsiders, he
Yeah.
definitely looks a little bit younger.
A little bit, yeah.
Than
And unfortunately, the 1 year jump means that we won't be seeing thunder or lightning now because there hasn't been enough of time jump for them to be old enough to be in
Yeah,
part of the
with
kids.
Thunder-
We're also
Yep.
Leanne might be using a toy arrow right about now. Would we see a Connor? Oh, what's his name? Connor Queen? Diana's and Ollie's kid.
Connor Hawk.
Connor Hawk, yeah. Which in the comics he's not a legitimate child. He's Oliver's and somebody else's, but I think that would be implied. Would just be too complicated. So they might have, but in Injustice they did have Connor and Diane have a kid and called it Connor. So I think we might have another Connor Queen.
Well, in the Injustice games, comics, Connor was biological son of Oliver and Dinah.
Was he? I thought he was
in the
somebody else.
Injustice comics, he was.
Yeah, in Injustice comics he was, but I don't know if he was in the mainstream comics. So, which is why, if we were on Earth 16, we could have them.
He was, but then Crisis Event.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like in the Arrowverse, I haven't read a lot of like the main Young DC comics, but like I know in Arrowverse, Oliver does have like 2 kids, but I don't think that's gonna like go in with Young Justice.
No. But I think they would have, if they did have a Connor, he would obviously be a legitimate child between Black Canary and Green Arrow, which in Injustice Harley Quinn called them Green Canary, which I think you could work with that if he had the Sonic Scream. Oh, hello, pressed the wrong button. But yeah. Not much of a time jump for them. But speaking of kids, season 4 prediction: are we going to get the? I don't know if you might want to hear this, Iris, if you haven't heard the mainstream stuff. But Leanne Harper does actually die in the comics for a very long time.
Yeah, I know. I heard I remember listening to Whelmed. Emily was talking about it in Whelmed. Emily was during one of the podcasts. Emily was like, if you read the comics, something's gonna happen to Leon, and I was like, what happens? And then I searched it and was like, oh shoot, she might die.
Yeah, which
I don't think they will do that. I mean,
well, I was speaking to Emily. I was speaking to Emily during a podcast. I've done a podcast with her. It's not out yet, but spoiler alert, I did discuss how I think because we've got the Legion, we might have a future timeline, and if we get to see a future timeline, then we might see a timeline where Leanne gets killed, and then they've got to obviously come back and change that. So there might be a have your cake it of DC comic storyline of Leanne being killed, and then eat it to when they correct the timeline and they come back to fix it. But this is what happens when you have time travel in storylines. It gets really, really complicated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I brace for impact there, people. Leanne might be squashed.
I have a question for you, Michael.
Yes, go ahead.
In your hand, your ring, it looks like a Legion ring for me.
So a Legion ring? I have a Legion ring. This is a Blue Lantern ring. This is actually Mark II. This is Blue Lantern ring Mark II, because I had originally a Blue Lantern ring Mark I. And I went up a mountain with it, jumped out of a plane with it, and did some marathons with it. And I met Jason Spizak a couple of years ago at Comic-Con, the exact same time when they were about to announce season 4. And there was a little ice cream parlor. We'd all met, and I think this is why they were treating me so kindly and invited me out to dinner on that Saturday. I gave him a little ring. I gave him the box with this ring in it. I explained to him in all seriousness, during my teenager years, I was suicidal. I had suicidal thoughts. There's nothing wrong with that. You need, what I would suggest is if you are having those thoughts, you get some help. As I didn't do that, but I watched Young Justice, and I developed watching it so much that at the end of it, when season 2 was cancelled, I did stuff. I did theories and images, and it became so popular that I started doing my YouTube channel and my DeviantArt and Facebook, and it built up so much. I had something which kind of brought me to carry on with my life, and so that's why I gave him the little symbol of hope, which I carried around with me after season 2 had ended, and I did all that stuff, and I gave him my Mark 1. So I bought this one, solid stainless steel one, as a Mark 2. So that's where this ring comes from.
Yeah, I saw that video. Didn't Jason propose to Stephanie with that ring?
Yes, I gave it to Jason. I gave the ring in the box to Jason, and then he just went, "Oh, hey, Stephanie," and then bowed down and did the ring as well.
Wow,
I saw that
Michael,
video on
thank you.
YouTube.
Thank you for sharing that.
I put it on TikTok and Instagram. There are some really good moments. That was like one of the best days of my life with those guys. It
I
was
can
amazing,
imagine.
and I'm glad to say I can now call them friends. And fingers crossed, when we get to see quiz 4 of the Young Justice Live quiz, I will be having Jason and Steph take part in it as well.
That would be great. Thanks for sharing your struggle, because I relate to that. I too have my issues, and Young Justice helped with that. Like, I was really depressed at
that's-
the time, and then I saw Robin Dick being an absolute badass on Young Justice episode 1. Here I am defending the cause like you,
Yeah.
because this series is so powerful, and it can heal us, and it can help us get through very, very dark times. And I
Mm.
think that's the strength of the storytelling and the character depths. Yeah, like you, it saved me like a lot. So yeah, I think this series is more than just an animated series. It's like
Yeah, it's a group, it's a community,
it's
it's
a
following.
lesson. It's a lesson on humanity. Like,
Yeah, it's a lesson in humanity. Iris, other than getting A's from it, how have you? I mean, we'll go back to episode 2, but since we're all being very honest out there, how has Young Justice affected your life? Doesn't have to be as
Honestly,
profound or as big as us. We
yeah,
understand.
like Young Justice Outsiders. Being an outsider is how I felt for a very long time. Ooh. Not many people watched comics or was invested into comics the way I was at my elementary school. So I just pretended like I had no idea what comics were. I pretended like I didn't like comic books. I pretended superheroes were childish. And then once I got to middle school, I decided that I'm done trying to please people. I'm just gonna. I wore this jacket every day to school, and my teachers were like, "Oh, you read comic books?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know a little bit about it." And then eventually, once Zoom started, I met 2 teachers. They were students at a college close to where the school is, so the volunteers would come in and teach. And they saw my jacket, and I had like my profile picture on Zoom was Young Justice, the Young Justice banner. And then I got it really close. I became really close with the 2 assistant teachers because we were able to talk to comics to each other, and I felt a lot better about comic books.
yeah, it's
It's
sometimes
an amazing
like
show.
patronizing people who like comics, but
Yeah.
they don't know really
Um,
how it affects our lives, and
Hmm.
it's such a positive.
I think that it's been helpful with the success of the DC and Marvel movies. It's like, okay, you made fun of us, but you'll go and watch a movie about it. It's the
Yeah.
exact same thing. It's just that's in a book. This is live action. So if you've gone to see one of those, don't criticize me for reading what made that series.
Yeah, that
And
would
another
be
thing was like
hypocritical.
another thing was like I was very open that I love DC and I prefer DC over Marvel, and they're like, why? There's nothing good about DC. And I just started going off. I listed everything about DC that I knew and why I liked it. And they
I
were like,
think I've been there with you.
yeah. And they were like, I was talking about Brion and Young Justice, and I was like, there's this great story about a guy who overthrows his kingdom and like Geoforce. And I started naming all these superheroes and like, who are you talking about? And I was like, and I think I got into a conversation about how there's a lack of representation with comic book characters. And like, yes, I agree there isn't that many like Asian heroes, but I was like, well, what about Cassandra Cain? And everyone except for those 2 teachers that I talked about earlier, everyone was like, who's that? And I was,
Cassandra Cain.
yeah, I pulled up a picture and I was explaining her backstory and everything and how great she was. And our teacher was like, how are you able to memorize all of this but you can't remember how to do these, like spell these words and write this essay properly.
Yeah,
And I
my
understand.
family's similar to that. It's like, how can you remember all this stuff, but you can't remember which one of your nieces named what? It's like, oh, I know.
Yeah,
My
I
parents
was.
call
but-
me out for not remember stuff because I do, but they do call me like, dude, you're like an encyclopedia of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
yes,
And
actually.
like just
But-
trigger me. These kids at my school, at my middle school, they just came up to me while I was eating lunch. They're like, "Who would win a fight, Batman or Superman?" And I did exactly what Dick Grayson, what Dick Grayson said.
why
Like,
would they
why
fight?
would they fight?
Why would
And
they
I was
fight?
like, "Give me a
Yeah,
reason
he
on
was-
why they would fight, and then come back to me." And they're like,
Christopher Jones brought up a excellent idea discussion when I was discussing this with him. It was like, it's the writers will make whatever they want to happen. It's like, you want to explain how Batman beats Superman, they'll explain it. They will write it. They're the writers. They're gods. They can literally make it anything. Oh, and suddenly Batman pulls out a kryptonite ring, or suddenly Superman decides to
But
get pulled
you
into
know
a
that
multi-universe thing. Writers can make whatever they have happen, but obviously when you just take it as raw information and not from the artist or writer's perspective, it becomes an argument. But I am all supporting of you for DC over Marvel. Marvel movies, I'll give you that.
"Yeah,
DC
Marvel
Comics,
movies are amazing. Their comic books, meh."
yeah, DC Comics, DC TV, and DC characters all
animation?
the way for me. Yeah, DC animation. I mean, when was the last time you saw a Marvel animated movie? They didn't, because they
they're
started.
good,
They
but
realized they
they're
couldn't keep up with
not
DC.
that-
Yeah, like I think a lot of the Marvel animated is like all Lego, and even then their Lego stories aren't that great. But you go to DC Lego movies; those are pretty
Yeah.
good. Like those are
No,
really
no,
good.
I can tell you what the Marvel is. Marvel is just it's toy line episodes. The Avengers Assemble, Avengers Earth Mightiest Hero was cancelled after 2 seasons. That was an amazing series. It got great reviews. Avengers Assemble is just a toy line. It's Spectacular Spider-Man. They give Spider-Man a motorbike. Why? Because it sells toys. Spider-Man has a motorbike. They sell those toys. They sell, like, they sold Avengers that had all Hulkbuster armor. Why? Oh, Sony decided they needed all Hulkbuster armor. What? No, it's because they wanted to sell toys of Hulkbusters in Avengers form. Marvel is just pandering to the lowest form by selling stuff when
Yeah.
they create their series. Unfortunately, yes, they
Michael,
have good stuff, but
I would like to address the point you said that the writers are gods and they can do whatever they want. Yes, but also what makes a great story is when they do that and do whatever they want, and you read it and it makes sense. Like
yeah,
you can make Batman have kryptonite. Why does Batman have kryptonite? Because he's the world's greatest detective. Because he trusts anyone can be corrupted, even Superman.
I'm
Because-
sorry, I have to stop you there. Batman is not the world's greatest detective. I'm sick and tired of hearing Batman is the world's greatest
you say-
detective. Sherlock Holmes
Jim-
is the world's
Jim-
greatest
Jim-
detective.
Jim-
Batman has just got a computer and a big wallet. Okay,
But Detective
no,
Jim, but okay, I'll
Batman is
give
not
you
the
that,
world's
I'll give you
greatest
that.
detective.
Detective Jim, okay. But the point is, Batman knows how to prepare for everything, and he knows no one is anyone can be corrupted, even Superman.
Yeah.
He knows the darkness of human hearts because Gotham
Yeah.
is like a black hole of eternal tragedy. So he knows he's always prepared. He always has the gadgets. He has the
I-
mindset. He knows. He has he's a character that was built over decades. So if the writers want to say, okay, let's give kryptonite to Batman, it will make sense because as a character, Bruce Wayne prepares for everything.
Mm.
And
I somehow think we've got a bit off the beaten track here because we were meant to be discussing the episodes and we haven't
Yeah,
actually really got that far. It's like,
I just want to
okay.
say,
Okay, we got about 50. We're coming up to an hour, and we haven't actually discussed any of the interior of episode 2 yet.
we're the
Or-
worst. But
So
yeah,
we got like 10 minutes to cram in all of episode 2 stuff, which is obviously the Legion. The Legion are now been
there
seen.
are two things we need to talk about. First, the Legion, and
Yeah.
second, the new members of the Outsiders.
Oh yeah, and the cameos because
We
you
see Stargirl. We get to
see
see
Stargirl.
We see Windfall.
Windfall.
We see
The British girl with the eye on her. I think.
Yeah.
Livewire. We see Livewire.
Yeah.
We see that team has joined.
So like my question is like, is the Meta U Center now just like kids will train at the U Center and then join the Outsiders? Is there like
Yeah,
now,
I
is there
mean,
now a superhero school?
I'm sure that's a no. I'm sure the Outsiders will not become a few hundred strong. I said this message to Brandon and Greg. I'm sorry. So you've got a bunch of people who can fly and with superhuman abilities. Can they play Quidditch? I'm sorry. You've got a bunch of people that can fly. You can do Quidditch.
Yeah,
It's
DC
owned by
Comics,
Warner Brothers.
DC Comics
to
and
do
Harry
that.
Potter are the two biggest things.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
I think I might have you pegged on that, Iris, because I actually sent in my portfolio to be Harry Potter.
I had to one.
And it quite turned out nicely that I actually started looking like him.
Oh, you do?
Oh, you got a one.
Hold on. There's more.
Oh, I've actually been to Harry Potter Studios. Oh, you've got Gryffindor.
These were my
Yeah.
souvenirs for my last trip
So,
to
well,
Universal Studios.
Sorry, we get sidetracked by Harry Potter, but who is?
Yeah, we've now been we've now gone off the road.
I have two ones here.
Oh God, I've got a golden snitch upstairs. But yeah,
The
okay,
other
yeah. Oh, the
Back
older
to
one.
this show.
Back to this show. I mean, I'd love to discuss it. Back to this show. I thought I had everyone beat with the Harry Potter stuff, but back to this show. Yeah, episode 2, we had all the extra people. We had Stargirl. Whether or not she'll be played by Breck from Stargirl herself, I would like that. And there seems to be, and this is Young Justice related. Has anyone seen Artemis Croc in Stargirl? Loving
Yes.
Stella Smith as playing Artemis
Yes.
Croc in
I
Stargirl.
actually have not
And I
watched
have
Stargirl.
mixed
I have not watched Titans. I have not watched Doom Patrol. I have not seen any live action DC stuff yet.
If you have to watch a series, watch Stargirl because there are so many things that are related to
Yeah.
Young Justice in
What-
that.
what do
For
you
example,
think?
Artemis Croc and the
What do you
parents.
think of Artemis and Stargirl?
Oh, I don't want to say in front of Iris, but yeah, I'm loving her. I honestly, what I've chatted to her. Unfortunately, Stella Smith has come off of Twitter, but I messaged her a couple of times, and she was loving my reactions to her. And I want to ask Stella if she's actually met her, because there's got to be a point where Artemis Croc meets Artemis Croc. We've got to have those two actresses meet. It's just that has to be
That
hands
would be
down,
great.
because the reason why Artemis Croc is in Stargirl is so because of Steph's performance in Young Justice.
Because Artemis Croc originated from Young Justice. That was like
Yeah,
a-
that version of Artemis Croc originally originated from Young Justice. So it's like, have you two met? Because this would be awesome.
Yeah, it's
but-
like
Yeah.
she will
So
get
that
to
was Young
see
Justice
who she
related.
was.
Back to the topic at hand. So yeah, all the
Yeah.
new heroes, loving that. Legion. We've got about
And
10
I
more
really,
minutes.
really want to see the new outsider.
We also see like a Super Martian montage, and I was really happy about that. We got to see.
I was hoping for something that wasn't in the season. Like we got an image, but I was hoping for something that wasn't seen before. That was just flashbacks. No offense.
Yeah.
I don't mind
Yeah,
flashbacks
But
when it's
you can
flashbacks of
beat
stuff we've already
flashbacks
seen.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, the Legion. I really gonna need you to help me because the Legion is so big and I get confused.
Okay.
I know.
We need
Imran,
Rich to
Saturn-
talk about that.
Saturn Girl-
Oh, I've got most of them. So the
Saturn Girl, I
person,
get. The
Saturn
other
Girl, yes.
two who were
Yes.
with her, who are they?
I just
Saturn-
learned the name of the other two.
Yeah. Saturn Girl is well,
Yeah.
actually I wanted to bring that up is like how if Saturn Girl if Miss Martian reads Saturn Girl's mind, how's that giving away like her mind pattern? How's that giving away who she is? Because they've never met, haven't they? Or is that
I think
in reference to when they were at Bippo's diner that they realized that Miss Martian would realize that that person's been following them? Or
I think
is
I
she a
think it's
descendant of
because
Connor and Martian?
Oh,
because
that would be
Martian
Whoa.
telepathy. I think it's because Martian telepathy and Saturn telepathy might be different. So Megan, being the most powerful psychic of Mars, I think she could tell if someone not Martian was
Yeah.
psychically following her.
Oh yeah, that makes more sense that she wasn't Martian. But yeah, what I was thinking of, well, Miss Martian's never met Saturn Girl, so what's reading her brain going to give away? Unless might be a very long lost descendant of Connor and Miss Martian, but that's spitballing ideas. You wanted who they were. Saturn Girl,
Yes.
psychic. You have Phantom Girl, who is the person who can density shift.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you have Chameleon Boy, who is the person who turned into Forager and then rolled out of the way.
Yeah, I just looked at the name.
Yes, sorry. Serenity did bring up there is a Martian. Hang on, let's just show
That
it.
was Chameleon Boy.
I think, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was Chameleon
there
Boy,
is also-
Serenity, that had disguised herself because Chameleon Boy can turn into anyone or anything.
Yes.
Or
He's a
anything living,
shapeshifter.
I think, and so that would just be him hiding in plain sight. But it's kind of a big giveaway that they've got the rings.
Okay.
Uh,
Then,
Yeah.
did you notice then the three legionaries that were following? Saturn Girl, telepathy. Chameleon Boy, shape shifting.
oh yeah!
Phantom Girl, density shifting.
Oh wow! Yeah!
Who has all those powers?
Oh
Yes,
wow! That is that. I don't think. I think that's I think that's kind of like how Icon has similar powers to Superman, but he's not Kryptonian. So I think that's a massive
but it's
coincidence.
interesting because
But yes, you are
Miss
right.
Martian has all those powers, and specifically those three who have one of her powers are the ones who are like trailing them. Like if you
Yes.
like you just said Chameleon Boy can shape shift. Okay, Megan can do that. Saturn Girl is a telepath. I knew that. Megan can do that, and then Phantom Girl facing Megan can do that too.
I
So-
think that's to do with preserving the timeline because what I'm guessing why the Legion are back is to prevent whoever this person is with heat vision, because you see the heat vision coming down from the cave and it's like, hang on, that's clearly heat vision, and then who's got heat vision in the future unless it's like another Kryptonian, which
Could
doesn't
it be
make any
Match?
sense.
Because we don't know
Huh?
where Match is.
Well, John Kent was recently
Like, can they put a
on
control
the
chip
Legion,
on Match?
but John was.
I don't think they can, but that wouldn't have anything to do with the Legion because this person,
True.
whoever's come back with the heat vision and the laser beams, is from the future because he's mucking up the timeline, which is why the Legion have come back. And I am so happy that when I called those little spheres that were seen in the poster, those were clearly time travel spheres. I
Yep.
called that back ages ago, and like, yeah, I'm completely wrong that the two planets were not Earth and the wrecked Earth, but oh, that makes
I-
sense. Yes,
I want
Uh,
to see Brainy.
Brainy. John Christopher Jones did leave me a hint that somebody, like, this is 2 years ago before season 4 was fully done, but he did say that somebody from the comics that was drawn from in the comics will be making making their first appearance in season 4, and I think that's going to be Brainiac. So maybe, who knows? But yeah, Legion back. I'm not quite sure who they're worried and stuff trying to do because. Oh my
And
god!
it must be very important because the Legion has been there for a
For
year.
a very long time, yeah.
For a year already, protecting the league and the outsiders probably. And in fact, I'm still amazed they haven't been caught after a year of stalking.
Yeah, that is a good point. They haven't been caught yet. I
So-
suppose I suppose it's like they've got to protect a wide area when that person's starting meddling with time, because obviously the butterfly effect. So they got, okay, we know he's showing up at this point. We've got to kind of cover everything between that time frame. Iris, you were saying?
So yeah, I don't think this season's gonna be about sorry, hold on. I don't think this season's gonna be about what Whelmed thought. I don't think the Legionnaires is gonna kidnap them. So
No.
like I was actually like I didn't like the idea, but once hearing it more and more, I kind of got on board with it, and so
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
does make sense, because there's
Yeah,
that
just-
part at the beginning of the trailer when they're all looking at screens.
yeah,
So maybe they are right, and they will be kidnapped by the Legion to deal with something as they're off world. But I've come up with something even more terrible as a prediction / theory. Right, as we know in the mainstream comics and on the CW, Martian Manhunter is the last Martian. He's portrayed as the last Martian in the Justice League animated series, but he's also portrayed as the last Green Martian in Supergirl's DC Comics. And we've just been dropped this literal massive bomb of a biological warfare device that can kill off Green Martians.
I don't think Macron will do it.
I think he will. I
I
think
think Macomb will.
I
You
think
really
this
think?
will
I
be
think-
the this
I
this
don't know,
will be.
when he was talking with Megan, well, he was jailed. I was like, oh, come on, there's hope for this guy. There's hope for this guy. And then when the SAT gives him the
No,
killing
but when
virus
he
machine,
what's his
I'm
name? When
like-
Desaad showed up with the bomb and said
Yeah,
this might
I'm
even
like,
affect
he's
you,
not
and
gonna
he
do it.
says I don't care, he still sounds like he's going to do it. So this could
Yeah,
be the
but-
device that explains why on Earth 16 all the Martians are dead, except for Miss Martian and Joan, which are normally portrayed as the last couple of Martians in
Martians.
all other DC forms. So
Yeah,
this
but-
event that we might be seeing is the end
Ma-
of the Martians. They're all gonna die.
It
Like
could
I'm
be,
pretty sure he's
but-
gonna do it. And the
but-
thing is, like, it said that it would kill off all like the Green Martians, but not the whites. So
Yeah.
that's like his mom is a Green Martian. He's implying that he's gonna be okay killing
He
his
doesn't
mom.
care.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
this
then
is
he
my
also
theory.
says it
This
might
is my theory.
it might kill crossbreed ones as well. And he
Yeah.
says he doesn't care.
I don't think Macron will do it. I don't think Macron will do it because he's mixed. He has Green Martian DNA as much as he would like to say no. His mom is a Green Martian, the sister of Sean. So if there's a
I
risk,
don't
he
think.
could
Yeah,
die.
Enrique, I think you missed the part in episode 2 because Desaad says this to him, and he says he doesn't care. He
No.
doesn't care if it might affect him or not.
He doesn't care about his facial expression. If I can read it.
What facial
in- in-
expression?
It's a facial
in
expression.
the
It's all
His
just
face
Martian
looks
psychic.
the same.
And I know the Martian, but his eyes told me something that a little bit of reluctance. And
Okay.
I think the bomb may go off, but someone else will trigger it. Maybe not Macron,
Oh, that's a
but
good
maybe
point.
there will be a third party that will
To be
say
fair,
that.
it's a bomb made by Darkseid. I think it'll go off either way, and it'll kill anyone either way because the Martians are a big threat to him. I mean, I'm not mean on the grand scale of things, but they could absolutely trounce any parademon if they went to war. Like if they tried, and I mean seriously tried to fight something, even if it's an apocalyptic scale on a planetary scale, they would trounce anything Darkseid's got, and he wouldn't let anyone be that much of a rival to him. I think it'll go off if it isn't set off. Darkseid or someone else will. I agree with you that someone else is going to set that off if it isn't set off by Marza hang on, Serenity is just added. Wait, let me show this. Oh, and Serenity Mon-El isn't he a part of the? You are right. Mon-El is
Yeah,
part
he's
of the
part of
Legion, and
Legion.
he is Kryptonian. But I don't understand
he's-
why he would do it.
He's Daxamite, actually.
Oh yeah, but Daxamites don't have heat vision. What?
Yeah,
Who's?
I read that Daxamites were originally Kryptonians who were explorers, and they moved to Daxam, which is Krypton's neighbor planet.
Yeah, if you watch Supergirl, the Daxamites
no,
make an
no, but
appearance in
the-
that.
this is there's a version of that, but not like this. In Supergirl, the Daxamites are their own race. That has been fighting with the Kryptonians.
Okay.
But
Serenity is okay. She's just posted, "Oh my bad."
course.
That's all right.
In
You for voiced opinion. That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a good point for discussion.
It's a good point to bring up.
And in the comics, it turns out that Daxamites were Kryptonian descendants.
Yeah,
of
and
the
their
Kryptonians that moved to
kryptonite is lead. Their kryptonite is lead, which is really useful for us considering we fire lead bullets.
Exactly.
We literally fire what they're allergic to, which is not a bad thing.
But yeah, bottom line, Morale is a Daxamite, and yes, he's part of the Legion. And hopefully we'll see him this season too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got a lot of time to go. Speaking of, this is going to be the last question because we're at an hour and 15, and I'm going to call it soon. Last question. Now, do you think episode 3 is going to be set on Mars? Because as we know, previous season was a 3-parter. And we've also seen a bit of a cliffhanger here. So do you think episode 3 is going to be set on Mars? I think yes. They wouldn't take away from that so early.
I think yes. I think it's going to be a 3-parter, like season 3. And the only reason they didn't release yesterday the 3rd episode is to have us waiting for next Thursday so we can watch the conclusion of this wedding disaster Megan and Connor are having.
Okay, so you think it's be like how in season 3 they did a 3-parter in 1 week, but they did 2 episodes now to coincide with DC fandom. That's what you think.
I think that these are just the first 2 parts of a
Iris,
3-parter.
your views?
Yeah, I agree that I think they should, like, if not at Mars, like maybe it shows like Martian Manhunter on the Javelin going to Mars, at least that.
And I mean, they said it takes 2 days. It will take them a couple of days to arrive, and the wedding's in 2 days, and I'm sure they'll set off the bomb in 2 days. So it'll all culminate at the end. Superboy's going to be crawling along the edge of the.
Yeah.
I've just realised that's why he's going to put the bomb. See, if he needs to affect the entire planet of Mars, he wouldn't put it in a cave, would he? He would put it outside for the atmosphere to catch it and the winds to spread it around, which is why Connor's outside in an oxygen tank.
Whoa.
And then he gets a hole in it.
I mean,
that's
why it's outside. He's trying to get the bomb.
That makes so much more sense now.
Maybe he will put the bomb in the wedding cake.
Put the bomb in the wedding. Oh, come on, Enrique. He's not putting the bomb in the
I'm just
wedding
kidding.
cake.
But it will be fun. Hey, here's the cake for the
Oh, God.
And then it explodes, and then
Serenity says I'm a genius. Hang on. Wait, Serenity, is that a genius for my idea, or is that a genius for Enrique's cake idea?
It's
It'd be hilarious if it wasn't the cake.
It's so obvious. The cake thing is so obvious, no one will notice.
Oh, if you showed up the wedding and just like, I want to be supportive here, and then it's surprise, bitches, boom.
There's the happy couple cut the cake, and then Megan grabs the knife, and then entire.
It's both apparently.
2/3 of Martian population is gone.
Well, it's actually more than 2/3.
Enrique's idea is, I think Superboy. I think your idea is a lot more reasonable. It makes a lot more sense. It makes more sense if it's there.
Yeah, it's not. It's more than 2/3, Enrique, because White Martians are the minority, which means there's less of them than a majority. And even if they include yellow, even if you included green, red, and yellow to be part of them, even if that was evenly split, that would be more than 70%. So it's not a third. I think like 20% of the population would be left if it worked.
I just got a thought. Okay, so the bomb is is made to kill all green and red Martians, right?
Yes,
But
and,
he did
and
mention
potentially
that
mixed.
it may or may not kill mixed DNA.
Yeah,
That would be Macomb and McGann.
yes,
But
and her
what
sister.
about Macomb and McGann's other 45 siblings? They
Oh
both
yeah,
have
that's the point.
they
No,
both
no,
have
I
white
think that's
and
why
green.
Desaad said it was so tricky to try and design it to affect the people with the skin
Because they're all
because
genetically the same.
they're all so similar DNA. It's like trying to set a bomb to like the 0.00001% of it. So you have a point with mixed DNA that would kill. Oh, and that would explain why none of her sisters survived. Oh god, yeah, being the last two Martians, Miss Martian, and John Jones.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah,
they could Megan could lose her other 45 siblings, or maybe they will survive as the last 45
Yeah.
green Martians.
Yeah.
That's a
29.
possibility.
I do not know, but unfortunately, we've got to leave it there. I think the bomb is going to be set off. Who else agrees? Yeah, Enrique. Yeah, you
Of
agree.
course.
Serenity and
It-
anyone else watching, do you think the bomb's going to go off?
Either by anyone else, or Macomb, or in a cake.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see, find out. It's next Thursday. We'll try and set up another discussionary episode then. Actually, probably maybe not because I have a 1 year anniversary of dating my girlfriend, so it might not be that way. That this weekend. Thank you very much, all. Serenity says yes. Sadly, yes. So that does seem to be a consensus. Thank you for all joining. We'll try and set up something similar to this. Have a nice weekend. Nice week, everyone. See you on and enjoy the Young Justice episode on Thursday. That's all for me. I've been Dark Soup Boy. This has been a video on Young Justice. Please like, comment, subscribe. And
Guys,
as
have
always,
fun watching
hope
the
burn
new
bright.
episode this week. This is
Yeah.
Enrique Betancourt, and remember, if you order a cake, watch out for a Martian bomb. Have a nice week, everyone.
Okay, Iris, any last words?
How I end up most of my videos, symbiosis.
Symbiosis. Together, bye.